Hey guys, LQ here with the LQ review, and I'm here to talk about not the most recent episode. Actually, I was an episode behind, but I'm here to talk about the episode of Doom Patrol called Francis Patrol. So this was last Friday. I did get behind on Doom Patrol. I'm getting caught up. I'm going to talk about Francis Patrol right now, and then hopefully by the end of the day, I'll be able to put up a review for the most recent episode, Cyborg Patrol. So I apologize for that, but we're like I said, I'm in a transition with my careers, and I'm just playing catch up on a lot of things right now. So, Francis Patrol of Doom Patrol. This was a nice rebound episode. The last couple episodes of Doom Patrol have been kind of hit and miss, to be honest with you. This has been a great season, but it's kind of had a mid-season, two-thirds of the way season lull, to be honest with you. I like a lot of what they've done with the whole underground sequences with Jane and Cliff and Negative Man and all that, but for the most part, this is a sequence that's really kind of drug out, and they're still kind of dealing with some of it. So, but this episode was a nice pickup because it really got into some of the history of some of our characters and how they're trying to reconcile their past. The first one was Negative Man. You know, he had an opportunity to reconcile his past by finally confronting his lover, and he does that in the dream sequences. But he also is able to do that. The negative spirit is able to allow him to do that in the real world. He's able to approach his former lover, who is now an old man, you know, dying. He's able to approach him and have a reconciliation with him. And, you know, Negative Man learns that his former lover has led a happy life and a full life. And so what does that mean for a Negative Man? You know, what does that mean for him moving forward, for Larry? So yeah, you know, it's him trying to come to terms with his past, which is, you know, always a lot of fun in comic book movies. Able to look at characters, look at their histories, and figure out how they're going to move forward. And that's any kind of storytelling, not just comic books. Also, you've got the cyborg storyline, which was really interesting and really calls back to some of the most recent comic books, like the New 52, because Cyborg Vic is learning that Grid is taking over his system, taking over his body, and is slowly even turning the organic parts of him to cybernetic parts. So, like I said, this harkens back to modern New 52 comics, where Grid is actually evil. And eventually Grid's going to separate himself from Cyborg and be like the dark version of Cyborg. So I don't know if they're going to go this route, but it's looking more and more like they're going to go this route, where Grid is going to be a villain. And I hope they do. And I think it would really fit with the feel and the tone of the Doom Patrol show. But now let's get into my favorite part. The part that the episode is actually named after, the Francis Patrol. So Cliff is trying to Robot Man. Cliff is trying to figure out how he can reconcile his past with his daughter, and his crew chief had adopted his daughter and raised her. Well, his crew chief recently got eaten by a crocodile. Yes, the crew chief recently got eaten by a crocodile. And at the funeral, or the wake, or I think it was the wake. At the wake, Cliff is actually listening in, and he hears his daughter talk about how, you know, when his parents died, Bump, I think his name was, the crew chief, took her in, raised her, and she has a lot of affection for him, and that really upset Cliff. But Bump was also wearing one of Cliff's watches, and she was, you know, upset that not only did she lose her adopted father, she also lost this watch that belonged to her dad. So Cliff and Rita actually go out into the swamp to look for this crocodile named Francis. And Cliff wants to kill this crocodile and get the watch back. And so he's out there hunting for it, and Rita's on the boat rowing behind him, and all that's really funny and really comical. And then finally, as he's at his wit's end and he gives up, the crocodile breaches the water, and he's able to take it down and get the watch and return it to his daughter. So now his daughter never saw him, but he was able to leave it at her house, and she did find the watch. So all that was really good stuff. Cliff is my favorite character of the show. Um, Jane is right up there, but Cliff is my favorite character of the show, and this episode really highlighted a lot of, especially Brendan Fraser's comedic abilities. I mean, all he is a voice, but he's so funny. He's so funny. A lot of sarcasm, a lot of wit, some really dry humor, but all of it is great timing and really well done by Brendan Fraser. So he's been fantastic. The episode does end on a bit of a cliffhanger. Cyborg does kind of get taken hostage by some villains, and that's going to lead into obviously the next episode, which is entitled Cyborg Patrol. But this was a good episode. This was one of the better episodes out of the last 4 or 5. I really enjoyed this one. It had a lot of narrative threads that we were following, but they were all interesting. And you can't say that for the last few episodes, but every thread in this one was interesting, and some of them even concluded some season-long threads, some season-long arcs. And that's really appreciated, because as we get towards the end, I would really like it to be a little more concise as they're actually pulling the Doom Patrol together. I'd like it to get a little more concise as they're getting ready for their final confrontation with Mr. Nobody, which I assume will happen. I mean, right? They're gonna find the chief this season, I would assume. So I'd like it to be a little more focused as we get down to that part. Speaking of the Doom Patrol, they are now referencing that their team is called the Doom Patrol. Rita was like, "We're not called the Doom Patrol. That was those old people." But I think that they're starting to accept the fact that they are a team and that they are the spiritual successors to the original Doom Patrol. And by the end of the season, they're just going to, accept the fact that they are not just the spiritual successors, but they are the Doom Patrol. So that's going to be great. But, this season has been great. I've been saying that in every review. This season has been great. There's been some episodes that have been better than others. There's been some episodes that have been worse than others. Like I said, the last few episodes have been kind of hit and miss, but overall, season great. Better than Titans, and can't recommend enough that you spend the $8 a month to have DC Universe, because Doom Patrol is great. Titans was good. Not quite as good as Doom Patrol, but it was good, and Swamp Thing looks good as well. So get the. I mean, it's $8. It's what the price of 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks a month. So just get it, because you won't regret it. Great shows, great stuff happening over there. I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you for being here, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you later.